Hey, Pastor Ray Barnett here with you. Glad that you could be with me here on the Oasis. And as always, I wish you a good morning, good afternoon, or a good evening, depending on what time you're watching this broadcast. Absolutely, positively, a fantastic day here on the Mohawk River. 71 degrees, light breeze, but no chill in the air. Just really gorgeous. Today, I want to talk to you about something that's actually more profound than you might guess when you first hear of it, or even later on when you're reviewing what I've said. And I want to talk to you about making decisions. Making decisions. So let me start off by saying there are some, and perhaps some of you will know what I'm talking about. You could go into a store and spend a good amount of time trying to decide whether you're going to buy this item or that item. I mean, something really small. But because you've been anxious, depressed, other things that go along with mental health, you can't make up your mind. And now there's some of you that are watching or going to watch, and you're going to say, well, that sounds ridiculous. I go into the store, know what I want, and I'm back out. And to you, something like the example that I just gave may sound ridiculous. But believe me, there are many people that suffer from, various types of mental health issues. That's a huge thing. And again, it may seem ridiculous to you, but that's part of this whole problem with mental health issues, especially anxiety and depression. So you go into the store, you can't decide between this item, that item, and you're spending an inordinate amount of time on a simple decision. All right, let's move it up to who am I going to marry? Well, that's a major decision. For younger people, it's, what college should I attend? Sometimes in life, the choice between 1, 2, 3 good decisions can be just as stressful as trying to choose between good and evil, or 2 or 3 negative things and trying to figure out which is the least of the negative choices. So we have, here I just presented you with a range of choices that we all make in life and have to make in life. Who should I marry? What school should I go to? Employment. Should I stay at my current job? I have an offer from this company here, and usually there's some variance between the two. You're going to make more money over here, but on this job over here it has better benefits, and it goes on and on. Well, you get the idea. There are some people that have a difficult time making the simplest of choices. That goes along with this anxiety, depression, mental health. And then there's others who, would be much more understandable, that have difficulty making choices on major items, or major issues rather. That's more understandable. But the salient point that I want to make to you today is this. Any decision, once you've made it, will steady your nerves. Now, as I said in my introduction, this may sound a bit far-fetched. It may sound a bit ridiculous. But trust me, it's not. And again, because these broadcasts are short, I try to keep them short. I don't have time to go into elaborate explanations, which in my mind sometimes is a shame, because there's a lot more to this than what I can give you in 15, 16, 17 minutes. But the point, once again, any decision you make, I mean, once you've actually made a decision and you're going to go in that direction, it will steady your nerves. So, let's start at the lowest rung of the ladder. I'm going to go into a store and can't choose between two minor items for whatever reason. Don't spend so much time thinking about it, because in that kind of a scenario, the difference is not huge. Make a decision, grab it, you're on your way. Marriage, school, job, so many other things, that takes a little bit more introspection, maybe some counsel, bouncing things off people as far as a major change in your life. But still, once you make a decision, even on a major issue, it will steady your nerves and calm you down. Let me tell you what I do, and I'm going to strongly suggest that you do the exact same thing. As you may guess, in my calling in life, I have to often make decisions. Pretty much every day, but some are more difficult than others, just like your life. Then I have the average decisions to make, just like you do. And I find and have found that, number one, when I make a decision, I say, okay, there, I'm going. It calms me down. But that's not the end of it. The other side of it is this. Once you decide to go in this direction, whatever it may be, remember, on major decisions, you want to go a little bit more, or maybe a lot slower. And, really think it through, weighing out the negative. By the way, if you're making a major decision, you get a legal pad. Put a line down the middle of it, positives, negatives, and list them out. Sometimes you can just see by looking at it, macroscopically, you look at it and you could already see, well, it seems the choice is pretty obvious. So all the negatives are here and the positives are here, so you're not going to make that choice to the right. On the other hand, you can see that the negatives are here and the benefits are here. It kind of helps you out. It's good. It's a good way to help make decisions, especially if they're major. Either way, once you make a decision, it will steady your nerves. And what I'm going to suggest you do is what I'm about to give you now. When I make a decision, whether it's a big one, and I have to make some big decisions, I have had to make some very big decisions in my life, just like you. Minor decisions, I don't sweat them so much. But you may, as I just told you, many people do. Once you make a decision, forget everything else and go 100, and I mean 100% in that direction. Who you marry is a big decision. Unfortunately, mostly younger people, right? They don't give too much thought into a lot of considerations in marriage. And young people aren't expected to, I suppose, because they don't have the experience. But for those of us who are older, you make a decision. You give it everything that you have. You go 100% in that direction. Let me say it another way. If I was to have to leap off a cliff, and when we were kids, when construction companies got a quarry that they're mining for stone, well, sometimes they hit water, and that happened once in a place near us, and they hit water as they were going through this rock quarry, and we used to go up there and cut school. And you look up the cliff, and it was pretty much a cliff. I don't know how many feet it was, but it wasn't short. Not so bad, but when you're standing on top of the cliff, wow, that's a long way down. And when you're on the edge, once you jump, well, that decision is made for you. There's no going back. I'm not really suggesting your decisions should be that extreme. How many times we watch a young person, kids, when we were kids, up there say, come on, jump, it's fine. And no, they don't do it. But you know what? Either way, using my illustration of the quarry we used to swim in, to jump or to not jump, steady the nerves. Somebody made a decision, backed off the cliff and said, I ain't jumping in there. And for those of us who took the plunge, the decision was made once you went off that cliff. Now, life is not going to always present you with that type of an extreme where you're off the cliff, there's no going back. Sometimes. Most times, there's always a way back. And I should add that occasionally, you make a decision, you're 100% into it, you realize, whoa, you know what, I don't know to put any more time and effort into this is actually worth it. So that's something to consider, but I'm just trying to stay on one line of thought about how making decisions, small or large, will steady your nerves. So I'm suggesting to do what I do. After giving anything the type of consideration that it deserves, in other words, a big decision, more time to think about it. Small decision, just do it and you go. Once you make a decision, don't look back. Don't question yourself. Don't think too hard. It's good to think. I'm a huge proponent of thinking things through, but don't overthink it, especially once you're in one direction, because you're going to revive the anxieties or the depressions by reflecting back and saying, I wonder if I made the right choice. I wonder if this was the direction to go in. See, I don't do that, and I'm suggesting that you don't do it either, because, again, you revive anxiety, you revive a depression by going back and questioning whether this was the right decision. Now, again, there's a lot to say about this. Again, some decisions are much larger than others. Some are minor. What difference does it make? But once you make a decision, you give it everything that you have, and don't look back. Following Jesus is exactly what he taught. Once we decided to follow Jesus, we were not to look back. He said, if you look back, you're not worthy of following me or being my disciple. Now, the principle applies to many things in life. You go forward with the decision that you made, and you don't look back and don't question yourself and don't rehash it in your mind, because you may wind up walking back and then you're in the same place where you started earlier. And again, you're going to experience more tension in the muscles, the brain, confusion, and all of that. So it's a simple concept. And in this particular case, the ease of it is actually a little bit better than some other things that we have to deal with and we do deal with on this channel. But do as I do. Once you've given it proper consideration, again, with respect to how much time actually needs to be spent on it, you make a decision, go forward, don't look back, don't think about it anymore, just go forward and give it everything that you have, and you will find it's going to steady your nerves. I'm certain that there's many of you watching today that have decisions to make, small and large. Make the decision. Well, once you make the decision, you'll find your nerves will become steady if you don't keep looking back, questioning yourself, rehashing it, and all of that. Make the decision, small or large. Make the decision, go forward, do not look back, don't think it, don't overthink it. Okay, simple concept. And in this respect, there's very few things on this channel I could say that this simplicity and the ease of it are kind of close. This would be one of them. Make a decision. Once you decide, don't waver. Just keep going forward. And what you're going to find is when you make these decisions, small and large, it will calm your nerves. Any decision that you make with 100% effort will calm your nerves. All right? Do it. Just do it. Let me pray for you today that God would help you to make up your mind on whatever you're struggling with. There could be major issues, and so many people have major issues. Or it could be you could be one of those cases where it's hard to make any decision. People go in their closet, can't decide on what clothes to wear, and or that's average for most people, many people, not most, but many. But for some people, it's a real torture. It's a real thing. Let me pray for you today that God would help you to make up your mind. So I do pray for my friends once again Some are facing major decisions. Some, it's just they're afflicted with, can't make up their mind over little things. Either way, God, give them both the courage and the wisdom to make good decisions, and then forget about any other options and go forward 100%. And I ask you to help all of my friends today in Jesus' name. Amen. Okay, that's it for today. Make up your mind, go forward, and don't look back. You'll find it's going to calm your body and your brain down. Weather looks like it's going to hold up this week, so we have a beautiful day today, and hopefully the rest of this week will be like that until the weather becomes inclement and we're forced back indoors. If you want to be part of this group, just subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button, of course, so you know when these videos go up. They basically go up the same time every day, so hit the notification button. And always I remind you that have been with me for some time, or you're new to the channel, you're kind of getting something out of it. I got a very nice comment yesterday off the YouTube channel on another one of my media platforms, of how much these videos are helping this individual, this person, and an exhortation to keep making the videos. Well, let me say, I enjoy making these videos for you. I truly do. I just simply like to help people, and I like to teach. So if you'd like to be part of it, subscribe, hit the notification button. But for those of you who are getting something out of it, please share it with somebody else. Whether they join or they don't join, that's up to them. But for you, it's a good thing to do to share the wealth of knowledge that you're getting. All right, God willing, I'll be with you here again tomorrow on the Oasis. And as always, make sure you make doubly sure the peace of Christ is ruling in your heart. God bless. See you here tomorrow, God willing, on the Oasis.